everybody. This is Melvese from Written Words Publishing. At Written Words Publishing, we envision a world where every author, no matter of their background, has the opportunity to shape the world, share their voice, impact the world. I'm trying to do this without reading. One day I'm going to memorize it and get it right. Rewind. Let's start from the beginning. Back. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Writers with Purpose. I am Melvise from Written Words Publishing. At Written Words Publishing, we envision a world where every storyteller, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to share their voice, shape narratives, and impact the world through the written word. Okay, so today our guest is an award-winning, best-selling author by the name of Aaron Ryan. Aaron is the author of the Dissonance Series. In Dissonance, the invasion didn't come with explosions; it came quietly, beautifully, and if you looked them in the eyes, it was over. In 2026, the Gorgons arrived. By 3 months later, 85% of humanity was gone. Now it's 2042, and what's left of mankind is preparing for the ultimate counter strike. Woo woo. I happen to be a fan of sci-fi and fantasy, so I was happy when Aaron decided he wanted to talk about this series. So let's welcome Aaron to the stage with us today. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing well, Melvise. Thank you so much for having me. That was a great intro. Can you write
Thank
all
you.
of my intros from here on out? That was great.
Well, for those of you who do not know, I am an author myself, and I also happen to be a ghostwriter, so I'm not a stranger writing for other
There you
people.
go.
Okay, I can pick up your voice and put it out there and put your name on it. Well, thank you for being a guest on Writers with Purpose. Tell us something about yourself and tell us the purpose behind writing the Dissonance series.
Yeah.
Dissonance,
Well,
yes.
I know it's totally hard to. People say dissonance. People say dissonance. It's just like, yeah, it's. I should have chosen a different title. But I do want to say I need to be on your show more apparently because 2 ebook sales just came in. So like, can we just do this all the time? That'd be wonderful. Please, we'll talk about it. I started writing in 2nd grade. It was basically an assignment from Mrs. Walker in my 2nd grade class. Hi, Mrs. Walker. I'm sure she's deceased now. But it kind of fanned into flame writing and holding the finished product in my hand when it was all done and just going, holy cow, I made this. And I wrote this story called The Electric Boy. Life really does come full circle because I wrote a book in 2024 called Forecast, which is a 9/11 historical fiction thriller. And it really, I had an epiphany as I was writing, and I stopped and went, oh my gosh, I'm writing The Electric Boy all over again, like 45 years later. So life really does come full circle. Dissonance came from my wife and I wanting, we were watching I Am Legend. We'd seen it before, but I remember the intro. The intro was, crickets, weeds growing up through the cracks, ghost town, lions roaming the street. And I thought, what if the precedent for that was not, a vaccine gone wrong that resulted in rabies, but an alien invasion? And so that gave birth to Dissonance. And I remember toying with some phrases in the beginning. I was never going to make it. That was my reality. That became the very first sentence I ever wrote for Dissonance. And it turned into 6 books later and a big box set collection. So I know, shameless, but I had to show that. Very
Nothing
proud
wrong
of
with
it. It's
that.
my quintessential work.
Hold it up again. Hold me get you on the screen by yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is, so I'll hold it really close, but I designed these myself. I designed the covers. It just turned out beautifully. It's glossy and it's got all 6 books, 1,800 pages of heart, family, thematic depth, intensity. It's the best thing I've ever written. So.
Wow, that's awesome. I can tell that you are very proud of your work, and that is a good thing to do. It's nothing like reading your book and enjoying it every single time you read it. I'm getting those vibes off of you, Aaron.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your covers are awesome. Do you happen to offer cover design services to other authors?
I don't really offer it, but if someone is in great need, I will do it. I have a real local contemporary, and her name is Victoria Richmond, and she wrote a book called A Tale of Bears and Ravens. and I designed her original cover, and then she took that and then used it for the second cover and changed the words. But I was proud of that. I think I designed 6 versions for her, and she chose one of them, which just made my heart glad because that's the one I would have chosen. But I've done graphic design for years, and I use Affinity Designer. Saves a lot of dough from hiring a cover designer for all of the books that I write, because I just published book number 41, and it'd be really expensive if I hired one every single time.
Hmm.
So
That's great. So that's some great advice for you independent authors out there. You don't always have to pay someone else to do it. You can take the time to learn how to do it yourself. And then one great thing about doing it yourself is it's going to come out exactly the way you want it to be because you don't have to worry about telling somebody else or hoping someone else sees your vision for your work.
yeah, absolutely. And it takes a while. I'm a perfectionist, and you're absolutely right. In your mind's eye, you see exactly what you want to see. But I would only offer this bit of like contrasting advice in that I originally designed my original Dissonance covers 1, 2, and 3. I had them redesigned by an exceptional cover designer, and she did those. She thinks she did Dissonance Volume 0 Revelation as well. But then I souped them up beyond that and designed the other 2, and then everything after that. So, but gosh, Affinity Designer is so easy to use. It's great software.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it here. Infinity Designer. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. One thing I was scrolling earlier and I saw a cover and it looks so cheesy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you want people to buy this book, right? You gotta at least invest in a good cover. And if you don't have the money, invest the time and learn how to do it right. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Is it just me, y'all? I don't know.
People do judge a book by its cover still. That's the first thing they see. And it's unfortunate that they'll scroll past based on your slipshod kind of substandard cover, and they'll miss a beautiful story that might lie behind that front page. So yeah, put the
That's
time to it.
true. That's true. Well, let's talk some more about the Dissonance series. Tell us about the story and what the sci-fi lovers are going to love so much about this series and make them go and read all 6 books.
Yeah. Well, dissonance is, I love the word verisimilitude. I'd never heard that word before, but Richard Donner employed verisimilitude when he directed Superman in 1978 with Christopher Reeve. And I was like, oh, that's a great word. But it's just basically the quality of everything appearing attainable and, grounded in reality. I love sci-fi. I've always loved sci-fi, but I love sci-fi more when it is like Star Wars, where oil is dripping out of the panelization of the of the Millennium Falcon and Empire Strikes Back, more so than squeaky clean antiseptic white starships out in space where everything is just perfect and there's not a piece of lint on the carpet, running the length of the Enterprise. I like dirty and dirt under the fingernails. It's attainable. It's real. Aliens, my favorite movie of all time. The Marines are all gritty and dirty, and yes, they've got some technological equipment, but I wanted verisimilitude. So I wanted a novel that was alien invasion saga. I wanted to write at least 3. That was my original purpose, but I think I just grounded the story in so much human drama and heart and pathos and thematic depth, where when I was done with the 3 of them, I just went, there's more story here. I left the door wide open for a sequel, but there was also this 16-year prehistory, predating the events of Dissonance Volume 1, because like you said earlier, the Gorgons, they're called, they come in 2026 and they kill off 80%, 85% of humanity. And Dissonance Volume 1 is set in 2042. So there's 16 years of prehistory. Thus, I was able to write 2 prequels. So before I knew it, I had a hexalogy on my hand.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hard to pull away whether that was to write Forecast or The Slide or anything else I happened to be working on at the time. Dissonance kept drawing me back in, and I just love the story and I love the characters. So there you
Yes,
go.
that's awesome. You definitely have to love the story and be in love with the characters. Sometimes you don't like the characters. Sometimes you're happy you killed the character. But they definitely will live in your head. I would say, if you have multiple stories that you're working on or multiple ideas that you're working on, I see a lot of authors want to know, well, how do you balance? What do I do? I say work on whatever is on the forefront of your mind, whatever keeps coming to your mind and eating your brain up over and over and over again. That's the one that you need to focus on. If you get some ideas for something else, jot it down, put it to the side, focus on what's on the forefront of your brain. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, it's really hard. You should always push yourself for sure. You should always stretch yourself and boldly go where no man has gone before, and write stories that stretch you and that refine your craft. But I've definitely been in stories where I sit there and I go, why am I writing this? And it doesn't quite hit the same nerve that the other ones do. Dissonance, I was right at home. I belonged in that world with those characters, and I knew them and I knew the narrative. Whereas the Phoenix Experiment was a stretch. The Talisman series that I'm writing, albeit it's somewhat familiar territory because a lot of the characters hail from the Dissonance series. So it's an extension and a spinoff, but it's still a much different story. And I've really struggled writing, the narratives that I'm most familiar with. It's also a different style of writing. I've really just kind of become so fond of first person present tense. All my
Mhm.
original novels were first person past tense, or third person past tense. They walked to the door, and now it's I walk to the door. They said, I say. It's a mind bender, but I really appreciate how it kind of embroils you in the story as first person present tense.
Yeah, yeah. First person present tense. Yeah, that's hard to write. You have to really love it.
Suzanne,
What? How?
well.
Yeah, how difficult was it, creating the characters? You got aliens, you're dealing with the future, the sci-fi environment. How difficult was it creating those characters and being sure that the readers can actually see what's going on?
Well, the world building was, if you look at an alien invasion decimating, 5/6 of the people out there, and the world basically comes to a stop. 2042 doesn't look a lot different from 2026. It just looks more run down, more decrepit, more dilapidated because the caretakers have been taken out of the way. So it really is the same as 2026. It's just older and grittier and falling apart. I threaded my character's ways through, through actual streets and actual street names and actual landmarks using Google Street View and Google Aerial View. So for the people in Clarksville, Tennessee, who live there where the book is set, they'll go, I know that building, I know that place, I know that road, I know we go to that church. And I think that kind of attains the verisimilitude that I'm going for. The characters themselves, though, I think this is true of a lot of authors, is that you end up injecting a lot of your own traits into usually the protagonist. So Cameron Jet Shipley is very much a cynic. He's a little bit snarky. And so, there's some characteristics that I know are true of me that very easy to write that character. There's others, though, that are, they're a cut above the rest, like Pastor Rosie. And she is noble and she is very wise. I'm a wise guy, but she is a wise woman. Very different, so it takes a little bit of trying to really maintain and get in that character's headspace. But I think I got it pretty well. I think the characters are memorable enough.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm sure they are. Well, the word is that the first volume of the Dissonance series has been adapted into a movie and is being pitched to streaming networks. Tell us about that, Aaron.
Yeah. I'm so excited. That isn't that every author's dream, every indie author's dream, at least, is to get your book before the masses on screen. I was approached, and again, I'm a cynic, so I get 30 scam/spam emails every single day from book marketers and book clubs and exposure this and purchases that. It's all a farce. and they're getting better at their, AI laden flowery language emails that are just so pathetic. But I think it was early spring of 2024. I was approached by a gentleman who is a Hollywood fellow, and that's someone who's affiliated with the Hollywood scene. And he actually won some awards. He's IMDb, he's accredited, he is legitimate, and he won an award that was put out by Gail Ann Hurd, who is James Cameron's ex-wife. I know James Cameron, who's that? And so he won that award along with a few others. So I was like, geez, I'm 3 degrees away from James Cameron, but he approached me. He was very collaborative. He adapted the whole book into a pilot, gave it a treatment, character Bible, and he's actively pitching it to several streaming networks. No one has said no thus far. I've got one that I really hope picks it up because I think they'd be perfect for it. So now we're just waiting and playing that game, waiting for either someone to option it or flat out buy the rights to it. And then it's a waiting game on when it gets produced. But it is the one thing I knew I would utterly regret if I did not pull the trigger on. I'm so glad I did.
That's awesome. Did you create the screenplay for the book, or did you hire someone else to do that for you?
No, that's the gentleman I was talking to. Is he actually sculpted the whole screenplay, but he was very collaborative with me.
All right. That's awesome. Well, you all heard it here. Let's just put this out into existence. Whichever network that is that Aaron wants to see his series on, that is the network that is going to be, and they're going to pay him the most money they ever pay the author to put their movie out there, and everybody and their mama and their daddy and their kids and nephews and aunts and uncles and their grandparents are going to go and see the movie. Yeah.
I can get behind that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yes, receive it. Yes. Awesome. Well, if there's anybody who's watching us live now and you have any questions for Aaron, now is the time to put them in the chat, pick his brain, and ask him whatever you would like to ask him. But while we're waiting for that, let us know, Ryan, where can we purchase the Dissonance series?
So my main website rather is authoraaronryan.com, and that has all the links and all the things. The Dissonance series itself has its own website at several domains that actually forward to the same place. You can go to getthesebooks.com, you can go to alienssaga.com, or you can just go to dissonancetheseries.com, and that will take you to the Dissonance site. But my main site has all of the books, my library, all the books in progress, what's coming up, and that's authoraaronryan.com for sure.
Awesome. And then you also across all the social media platforms, so your readers can follow you and comment on all your great work.
Just look up authoraaronryan.com. It's on every single one. And I want to clarify, it's authoraaronryan.com, not awfulaaronryan.com.
Oh, wow. Well, we don't see anything awful about you at all, Aaron. You are just an awesome person. Not awful, awesome.
You stop that now. You stop that.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to tell our viewers before we hang up the line today?
Thanks for viewing. Number one, keep reading, man. And I just, every time someone buys a book, you'll hear me quietly say, thank you, Lord. I am so grateful when someone immerses themselves in this world. We're actually going to take a second trip. I think it was Labor Day weekend 2024. We're going to take a second trip, my wife and I. She didn't go with me the first time, to Clarksville, Tennessee, to Nashville, and walk the very roads where my characters walk. It's so surreal being there, because I don't live there. I'd never visited there before writing the book. But it's grounded in reality. So when you get yourself in that story, you're going to feel real tangibly the character's struggle, the heart behind the family that's at the center of the story. And so thank you in advance for grabbing the Dissonance Saga or the End or Forecast or the Phoenix Experiment or the Slide or anything that you buy. I'm so grateful for the support always.
Yes, yes, yes. And this was a great conversation. It was awesome having you on the show. So you have so much out there. Feel free to come back again and again and again and again. Treat our audience. Treat us.
That's good.
we got some we got some comments. Okay, so somebody watching on YouTube says that miswritten word. I'll imagine that's me. It's natural at bringing out the best during her interviews. Thank you very much for that comment, Irvin.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'll try. And he says, "You're natural as well. Blessings to you, bro."
Blessings right back to you, Erwin. Thank you.
All right, y'all. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. And we will see you all on the next episode of Writers with Purpose. You all have a blessed day, and we will catch you later. Bye bye.